Hey there riders, Ducati have just announced updates to their Scrambler 800s for 2023 with a 3 model lineup, but the question is, do the kind of riders who buy the 800 actually want all these changes? Now straight up we'll be seeing a Scrambler icon as the base model, meaning the most affordable but still running the big updates. That's moving to ride-by-wire, which has allowed for the addition of ride modes and traction control while still keeping these features kind of simple. That's just 2 riding modes, with a wet mode offering increased intervention in slippery conditions, and while cornering ABS is standard, that is not new. The Scrambler 800s have realistically been the most analog of the modern Ducatis, sitting below the 1100s, which have always carried an electronics package, so it's going to be interesting to see if this increases their popularity or turns off riders who want that more old school neo-retro, something that's becoming increasingly rare. Sure, that boosts safety, but the 800 Ducatis were already extremely easy to ride and very confidence inspiring, so just how necessary was this change, and is it just driven by EU regulations forcing the adoption of the technologies that make these features possible? A new 4.3-inch TFT is also added, further modernising the Scrambler 800s, and it's hard to argue this won't be a win for most riders, unless they really like the old school clocks, although that's not unheard of. Other notable changes include the move to a new clutch, running an 8-disc affair which offers a lighter lever pull. That also compacts down the engine on the clutch side, offering more footroom, although honestly I can't say I ever noticed that limitation on a Scrambler 800. 2.5 kilos has actually been shaved off the engine in total, with the adoption of new engine cases for the clutch and alternator covers, as well as the belt covers, with the Scrambler X logo featured on the first 2. The chassis likewise has been updated, feeding into the 4 kilo weight savings in total, with the trellis frame becoming a 2-piece affair with a bolt-on subframe, which I'd have thought would increase weight, but which Ducati says has seen it decrease. Alongside a new swing arm that repositions the shock towards the centre of the bike and does seem to keep it well clear of the exhaust and collector. That separate subframe has got to be a win for customizers, of course. Other new features include the tank design as well as the headlight, now a full LED unit with DRL and more prominent X logo to match those cases. I've got to admit that's a marked improvement in my mind that joins the LED taillight and indicators for LED lighting all round. Also updated is the exhaust, which does away with the 2 uncovered headers and now hides one away, while the other hugs the engine. It's a clean look at the header, but to my eye that collector seems more prominent, and I can't help but wonder about heat buildup, with this being an area that these very restrictive Euro 5 exhausts can have real issues with. Power remains 73 horsepower as on the outgoing model there, but one feature that did catch my eye is the need to buy the Ducati multimedia system to sync your phone to the dash for music and calls. I'm a bit leery about needing an upgrade to activate this feature, even though this seems common with some motorcycle manufacturers. On the other hand, the bike is quickshift ready, with the DQS being an accessory you can add, and would be something I'd seriously consider for fun factor alone. Moving past the icon, we get to the full throttle, which to my eye is the best looking of the 2023 Ducati Scrambler 800s, with a red and black paint scheme, numbered side plates, standard skid plate, and blacked out heat shields and front side covers. Add a mean looking Terminomi exhaust that's also street legal, and some minimalist indicators, no rear fender and a more aggressive front fender, and you've definitely got me on board. That's before mentioning the seat to match the paint scheme and flatter bars. In contrast, the Nightshift takes things in a slightly different direction, with a Cafe Racer styled leather seat, race style underseat panels, sans the numbers, an even flatter, again set of bars with bar and mirrors, and some eye-catching spoked wheels replacing the alloys seen on the icon and full throttle. That does bump the weight up in comparison, but if you like spoked wheels, that's likely a trade-off you will happily make. The Nightshift also shares the lack of a rear fender and smaller front fender with the full throttle too, although the Nebula Blue is more withdrawn in the livery department. Now if you're lucky, arrival starts from March in 2023, although for us Australians that'll be Q4 of 2023, and pricing for us starts at $18,000 right away for the icon, with the Nightshift and full throttle demanding a $2,100 premium, bumping them up just past the $20,000 mark. US pricing seems to start at $10,995 for the icon in comparison, and $12,195 for the upspec models, while UK pricing is £9,995 for the icon and $10,995 for the full throttle or Nightshift. It's worth noting here in Australia at least, both the Nightshift and full throttle are slightly more than the 1100 Dark Pro, which offers more power, higher specs and more electronics if that's what you're into. So let me know, are you a fan of the increase in electronics on the smaller Scramblers, or did you like the separation between the 800 and 1100 variants, and will you be rushing out to buy one? If so, which? As always, stay safe out there and thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, sub or hit that like button.